Welcome back. We're glad that you're here for our last segment of today. And it's really an interesting phenomena to be. It's not really a phenomena, but it is something that I thought there wasn't much need for. But boy, am I wrong. This is called grandparents as parents. And it's becoming more and more prevalent that this is a need in our communities that we really need to pay attention to. And today we have Madeline Gordon, who is the executive director, and Angelica Leyva, who is in charge of their multi-service program, which you can say your own title in a minute. Okay, but Madeline, let's start with you. Tell us how long you've been in existence and what you do. It really sounds so necessary all of a sudden.
Well, I have to say first that we're a little bit of a misnomer. We're called grandparents as parents, but we actually try to work with an entire group of people. There's aunts, uncles, relatives all over the place, not just grandparents that are put in the position that they have to raise a relative child because the biological parents can't or won't.
Mm-hmm. Well, grandparents makes you know immediately what you're talking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
And certainly the prevalence is grandparents. That's the largest
How long have you
part.
been in existence now?
We started in 1987, actually here in Long Beach, and started as a very grassroots organization and remained that for almost 15 years. And then just the last 7-8 years that we've been able to expand. We now have 22 weekly groups meeting throughout the county. And the purpose is primarily to try to just connect families with each other, help them network, give them some of the tools that they need to put their lives back in order. Because when it happens, it's huge. Most people don't think about it until it happens to them. You know, they're not aware that there may be a problem, and suddenly there's a policeman at the door knocking and saying, here's your grandchild, either you take the child or he's going into foster care, and a decision could happen that fast of needing to parent again.
Yes, and you know, and when they say grandparents, it could be someone that's very young, and it could be also very elderly.
Absolutely.
That all of a sudden have assumed a family that they needed to start all over.
Yeah, the challenges are exactly that.
And when you say aunts and uncles, if grandparents aren't available to do this, then it goes to other members of the family?
It's not really even a pecking order as much as who's available, who's willing, who's been found that would be able to take on that responsibility.
And you were mentioning also an older sibling.
Yeah, we have right now a couple of them, but one 19-year-old that is raising her 3 siblings. The 4 of them were all in foster care, and then when she was 21, able to go, and she now has gone back, and not 21, she was 18, able to then go back and assume responsibility and take on the guardianship.
And how do you take care of them? I mean, what services do you provide them?
We think of ourselves as a one-stop shop. The idea is when this happens to a family, there's a whole series of crises that may go on, and it's a matter of if they need help knowing that they need an attorney, if they need help with housing. This is often a major problem. Whatever it is, we're kind of a one-stop shop. The backbone of what we do are support groups. And these groups are very educational. There's usually curriculums involved so that there's growth, and people are not only expressing what's going on in terms of their crises, but getting concrete tools so that they then are able to mentor others. A big part of our program is actually a social kind of a thing where whatever possible activity we can come up with to bring families together so that they don't feel so isolated. They feel like
they come with the children.
They come with the children. Sometimes we do a little respite where the grandparents actually can get away for a little bit and have some time for themselves. We may get tickets to the opera, or we may have picnics or big holiday parties. Angelica just oversaw a big one here in Long Beach with a number of our families. So anything we can.
Like how many people are you serving right now?
Grandparents as Parents right now is serving about 2,000 people, 3,000 people.
Not just in Long Beach?
No, not just in Long Beach. The number of children being raised by relatives are about 330,000 in California. And the part that's the most confusing, we almost don't know how many families are raising grandchildren that just are kind of under the radar and not known. But it is an issue that started in the late 80s because of the drug epidemic and has just continued to go.
Does it escalate?
Unfortunately, yes. And for many of the families, there's very few resources that they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go.
Absolutely. It's an immediate phenomena to them.
Yes.
That's changed their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but in the Long Beach area.
Long Beach area, I should have known that number, and I don't know
That's
that
all
number.
right.
But guesstimate that, of our support groups that are going, there's two different ones going. One's Spanish speaking, one's an English speaking. They meet on a weekly basis, and the groups can vary from as small as at times 10 to grow sometimes 30 and 40. The holiday party had a couple hundred people that attended, and again, these are a small part of the population because we're kind of a well-kept secret.
Okay, Angelica, tell me what you do.
Well, I'm the Multicultural Services Coordinator, and as a coordinator, I have my hand in quite a few things, but my favorite things that I do, I facilitate a support group here in Long Beach in Spanish, as well as one in Bellflower. And I also get to do crisis counseling with families and family counseling and individual counseling. So I see families from when they first come to our organization in a state of crisis usually. They just received the children, or they're having issues with the social worker, or they need help in understanding what their options are in terms of legal guardianship and adoption. So oftentimes I'll refer them to a support group to start getting the information and feel supported by other people that are in the same situation as they are. And I see how their situation starts to change once they receive the resources, the information, and the support.
And just knowing that there are other families and they know them that are going through the same thing they are is great support.
It's huge.
Because you feel so alone when
Yeah,
you have a problem like that. And it's so new, and the fact that it's escalating is frightening.
Yeah. We have a center at the Edelman Children's Court, and we started this in 2010, where there's 2 full-time staff there that are available to anybody who's in the court to help them know how to get through the court system, how to deal with
That's very important.
DCFS, how to deal with the process. One of the things that is kind of shocking is that a grandparent doesn't necessarily have any voice in the court. If children have been taken from the parents, they may go to court and not be able to say, I want, this is right, this is wrong. And so the caregiver center that's there is open to just kind of give them some guidance in that way.
How do people find you?
Used to be just word of mouth. More and more now it's agencies that know we exist. Certainly the court has made a big difference in terms of knowing what we're doing.
So they don't call you on the telephone? And
They do.
Okay.
We actually get a lot of people that call. Some people just drop in. Our corporate office is up in the valley. But again, because we have weekly groups going on in all different places, people hear about it, and as a result, they may come in that way or just referred. But we're
So
open.
You have a facility here in Long Beach.
We share. The Salvation Army opens their door for us,
good.
and Aspiranet opens their door, so that we have weekly meetings that are going on in both places.
That's excellent. And
It is.
do you have volunteers that help you?
Yeah.
And
We
what do
wouldn't
they
have
do?
existed.
What do they do?
Actually, our volunteers do everything. From we have some that are actually running groups. We have a PhD gentleman that comes in week to week. We have people in the office, people that organize our social events, anything and everything. And so we're always open and encouraging to
And
others.
is it like a training center also for college students, or for,
Yes,
show me about that?
we have right now 33 interns actually from 3 different universities, from Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Northridge, and Cal State LA. And these are MSW interns, Masters of Social Work students. And so they help run our support groups. They help make calls to caregivers and offer support and organize different events as well.
That's excellent. Do you want to give me the phone number for Long Beach?
Yes. Well, it would be, there's 2 different, actually, I don't have it memorized. Do you know the 562 number? I know our
That's all right.
818, there is a Long Beach number that maybe you'll be able to flash, or
Yeah,
it's on the
we will.
website.
We do
And,
that.
Otherwise, the
that.
818 is everything funnels up to us.
Well, you know, the thing that is so marvelous about what you do is that it brings awareness, so that there's not the stigma and there's not the fear
Yes.
that these people feel. And it's so important for all of us to know that there is a place where they can feel comfortable and actually get some help, because they feel alone.
They do. They
So-
feel alone. And the stigma that you mentioned is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
It still is that the apple doesn't fall far from the
Yeah.
tree, which is a horrible thing.
Oh,
The
that's-
drug epidemic erased any of the cause and effect in terms
Yeah.
of parenting being the cause.
Yeah.
If drugs are involved,
Yeah.
it could be anything.
Well, I thank you so very much. It was wonderful to have you, and it's something that we haven't talked about. We've talked about things for children and adults, but not necessarily grandparents, adults. So thank you very much for being part of our program today.
Thank
We
you
love
for
having you.
us. Good.
And I hope you learn as much as I do every segment, because things that are happening in the city, people don't even know about. But I get my referrals through the nonprofit partnership. They're the ones that provide the list of names, and if you want to know some telephone numbers, you would call the nonprofit partnership in Long Beach and they would help you. So we hope that you come back at our next program. We thank you very much for being with us, and remember, there's the heart of giving.